A mysterious woman dressed in black inexplicably roamed my town every Friday at midnight. Let me tell you her story and how I finally discovered who she was. The first time I saw her, I was only 7 years old. It was one of those quiet nights in the town, where the only sound disturbing the silence was the occasional distant barking of a dog. My room faced the main street, and that night, like many others, insomnia had won the battle. I peeked out the window and watched the shadows dance under the flickering streetlights. In the distance, I saw a solitary figure slowly walking down the empty street. She was a woman of about 50, dressed entirely in black, with a slow but determined walk that seemed more like wandering aimlessly than a purposeful stroll. At that age, and with sleep clouding my judgment, I didn't think much of it. It was simply another curiosity of a sleepless night before returning to bed. The next day, during breakfast, I asked my grandmother about the woman. "Grandma, last night I saw an older lady walking down the street. Who is she?" My grandmother's expression changed instantly. Her eyes widened a bit, and I could see her swallowing her nervousness before responding evasively. "There are things better left unspoken." That reaction only fueled my curiosity. I eagerly awaited the next Friday, determined to see the mysterious woman again. When the night finally came, I planted myself in front of the window, almost without blinking. And there she was, just like the previous week, slowly walking through the dark and empty streets. Driven by a mix of childhood curiosity and bravery, I gently tapped on the window to get her attention. She looked up at me and, with a surprisingly warm voice, asked, "Is it you, child?" Seeing my confusion, she smiled faintly and added, "Come down, I want to give you a hug." Something in her tone reassured me, and I started down the stairs intending to go out. But just as I was reaching the door, my grandmother grabbed my arm with a strength I didn't know she had. "Don't go down or talk to that woman under any circumstances," she said in a tone of imposition she had never used with me before. Confused, I let the night pass without further incident. The next day, moved by a mix of fear and curiosity, I asked my grandfather about the woman. My grandfather, whose mind had started to fail him years ago, looked at me with unexpected clarity and began to tell the story with surprising detail. That woman lost her son many years ago when he was just a child. After his death, she couldn't bear it and went mad. She walks at night looking for her son. One day, consumed by grief, she decided to take her own life. My grandmother entered the room at that moment and scolded my grandfather for talking about such things. "Don't tell the child that." But the way she said it, and the palpable fear in her voice, only confirmed in my young mind that what my grandfather had said was true. The reality of that story left me thinking for many years. As I grew older, I understood the profound pain that woman must have felt and how a mother's love for her child can drive her beyond the limits of sanity. I also learned that sometimes, the stories we least want to tell are the ones that most need to be heard, not just to understand our past, but to face our own fears and learn to live with them.